It has been a shit show, excuse my French, the past couple years. It's been hard. Was I like an axe murderer in my last life? But it's just been one thing after another. And I think that a lot of people don't talk about that. I think they should more. Like I say, like I'm a cockroach in the fact that I always get back up and no matter what, like you're not going to let me down. And my brain says, you know what? Something really big is happening on the other end of this. It's happening now. Like there is massive shifts in every right direction, but it's been a 3-year, like what is happening,
Right.
And you have to have the belief that it will work as long as you're taking the right action, like really effective action, which I know we are, and you just keep going like it will work. But I think very few people have that ability to do that.
I'm curious to know, as an entrepreneur, what do you do to wind down? Are you into traveling? How do you escape? How do you get wind down time? And if you do like to travel, what's like your favorite place that you've been?
Okay, wind down and wine. Like,
okay, all right.
I'm a drinker. Like I know a lot of entrepreneurs aren't, but like I do. My husband and I, we love going out and having cocktails and stuff.
Yeah.
Me and Haley will pop open, champagne. Too often I'm like, we can't open champagne until 4:00 because there's so much to celebrate. So, and that's kind of funny. And I wind down by learning. Like I love learning. And for me, like I don't really have a lot of hobbies except I love cooking and I love boating. And we do love traveling, but it's like I don't do it as much as I should. But I find great enjoyment in educating myself, like learning and taking classes and big time, yeah.
Got it.
So instead of reading, I will go take a class or watch a YouTube video or figure something out.
And what's your top travel destination? Money's no factor. Forget about the business for a second. You can take 2 weeks completely off Slack, completely off notifications.
We've got everything on lock.
Yeah. We've got it. Like you're teleporting away from the husband for the weekend. Where are you going?
My husband goes with me everywhere, so I don't like leaving him. In fact, like
you're teleporting away with him.
Oh, okay, good.
You guys are just able to teleport
Europe,
anywhere in the world.
Like go Italy, and I love Italy.
Drink some wine.
Enjoy
the streets of Rome.
Best food in the world.
Yeah, go. So we've only been one time too, which sucks. And we were like, I'm getting older. I'm like, babe, we need to start. We need to just do it. But it's like we're so busy, and so my goal is to try to make more time. And I think now with the virtual event model, because I once I do it, get it down, then it just runs virtual without me even being there. Usually about 8-10 months straight, depending on what's happening in the market, I'll just not be there. So now we're going to be having 3 virtual events all running evergreen.
Yeah.
So which is going to be kind of cool to talk about today.
How about that?
That's amazing. Yeah, we have one running for you tomorrow, which is amazing.
It is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 18th.
Yeah.
Wow,
I love that.
Geez,
That's the response we want.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it is tomorrow.
Yeah, totally.
We want that response, which means you're not concerned or worried about it, which is great.
Exactly. Like I'm here and I'm going to be at another mastermind and I'm speaking, and while that's virtual events going on.
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah, unless you can get virtual and evergreen like that, which is a really hard code to crack. Yeah. And so I also want to say, like, your team has done a really well job too of like facilitating the actual evergreen webinars, and which is like another piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, big time. And I did it live 18 times, like before I ever did it. So I've been doing virtual event for 5 years and 5 months. Every single month, I've only missed 1 month.
Wow.
And that was the month that I transitioned to have you guys help me run the ads.
Yep.
And but I did it 18 months in a row. And then because every time there was an objection or a limiting belief or something, a question, like my goal would be I need to answer that question. I need to answer that objection before it came up. Because if people are thinking, oh, I can't do this because of this, they're missing 80% of what you're trying to teach. So it's like that's the reason why it's so successful, is because we've done it so many times and we're adjusting every time. And also we test and tweak still, like one thing each time.
Yeah.
So cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so Rockefeller talks about rapid iteration, which I'm a huge fan of, and then you've got Rick Rubin on the other end of the spectrum that's like thoughtful reduction. And so I think one of the values of having rapid iteration, like monthly cadences or weekly webinars, is that rapid iteration, and then having outside people to do thoughtful reduction, because there has been a lot that has been reduced. I mean, today was another one where we consolidated 3 of your funnels into 1.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And it's like the organization of it, the cleanliness of it, the steps of it are going to be just a much smoother user experience without sacrificing anything, right? So thoughtful reduction, big piece. Rapid iteration, big piece. Yeah, you've got the rapid iteration on lock, and we're coming in clean.
Sweet. Cool. So for everybody watching, I'd love to give our guest, we're joined here today by Krista Mashore, and I'd love to give you a quick introduction of all the things, and your track record is extensive, to let people know when we're talking about the workshop model today and how here at Practice, how we make thought leaders impossible to ignore. who we are joined by today and the firepower that you bring. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your nickname is the Webinar Queen, the virtual event
Apparently,
queen.
I don't even know.
So I got some notes here. It says former real estate agent of 19 years, selling over 2,300 homes, with 69 homes in the first year, with an industry average of 6, casually 10xing, and your best year topping at 169 homes. Then you led a dominant career of being in the top 1% of realtors nationwide for 2 decades, transitioned into coaching for real estate agents in 2017, where for 7.5 years, you generated over $72 million in sales with your online business, authored 7 books for real estate agents and in the entrepreneurship space, and of course, sharing some of the biggest stages with Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Russell Brunson, Grant Cardone, and others. Wow, Krista, sounds like you really haven't. What have you been doing?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
I know.
Sounds like you need to do more.
And I'm just going to say I won 2 top 10 affiliate launches with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, beating out Russell Brunson and other
Ooh, is this a
people
shot?
that have
Is this a
way
shot?
more online followers than me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And the first year, 2 guys had to team up the last 8 hours and join forces to beat me.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's that DI profile right there.
I tell them,
there you go.
I'm like, you guys didn't win. 2 little boys had to join to beat Krista.
Oh, that's so epic.
So on the road, I want to tee this up for Nadim because we're going to get into a little bit of your backstory, and I know he has some personal questions that he'd like to ask you in building this business. But first off, did I miss any important events in your backstory that you would like to cover? And then I'm very curious, and for everybody watching, what are 1 to 2 pivotal moments that have happened in your life that have shaped you to be the entrepreneur that you are today? I know that asking the question of like, hey, what's your whole backstory can be a lot.
Yeah.
And so if you could narrow it down to like 1 or 2 powerful, impactful moments that you'd like to share with the audience, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, quickly. So I haven't lived at home since I was 13. Most people don't know about this. I'm very, very close to my mom, but she was physically abusive when I was younger. And so I started running away from home and juvenile hall, and then a group home for troubled girls. And then I came home and things were still bad. So I left at 13, went to a foster home. So I haven't lived at home since I was 13. After when I turned 18, my foster parents kicked me out because the money wasn't coming in anymore. So I had to kind of figure it all out. So that was greatly shaped me. And then my daughter, Kaylee, got really sick. She almost died several times. And I had just left my full-time teaching job and to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom. And that was right when I got my license. I was just going to play real estate. And I found out that my husband at the time was having an affair. And we just bought a brand new house, just quit my teaching job to take care of my daughters, 2 girls under the age of 4.5 and 2. And not even that. And he, drained bank accounts. And so those are 2 very pivotal moments that kind of helped define and also help me, be able to, I think, my audience really aligns with kind of those experiences, if it makes sense, and makes me more relatable, and also makes it, people see people on stages or they think that they're just invincible, and everybody has a story, right? Like no matter what it is. So that's what I'd say. Quick version.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there that is very relatable. I have one of 8 siblings.
Wow.
I'm the second oldest, and I have 4 sisters. And so I always really appreciate when I see like a powerful woman just like doing awesome things and doing a lot, or just like making a really cool name. I think it's really inspirational. I put my mom on that pedestal. Like she's a powerhouse too. And so when I can meet more women like that, again, it just inspires me. But I have big aspirations for a family as well. And so I'm more curious. I'm going to ask you for personal advice here on how do you manage being a mother and going on stage, doing the travel, building? Because I can imagine when all of that happened, how'd you keep your head like in the game?
Yeah. So when my husband left, right, and the girlfriend was knocking on the door, driving my car, taking my daughters away for Thanksgiving, my sole purpose and the reason I sold 69 houses my first year was because of my daughters. It was like, I remember it was Thanksgiving and I was in the family room, like they had just left, and I felt like really just low. Like my family fell apart, my marriage fell apart, and it wasn't the first time he'd had an affair. And I was like, God, let it happen again, kind of a thing, And I just remember thinking, okay, you have to fix this and you've got to keep your kids safe. And so my whole mission was keep the girls safe, keep them in their home, turn the backyard into butterflies, rainbows, and and that's what I did. So, and they were the reason why. People ask me, how'd you sell 69 houses your first year? It was like a cloud. I don't even remember. I just remember it was all about the kids.
Wow.
And then there was a lot of fear. It was a fear-based survival mode kind of a thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and also not living at home for so long and not having any money and being on your own and just like always scrapping, for everything. For a lot of years, it was like I was scraping, if that makes sense. I was like just kind of doing well off of fear, and I had to really retrain myself to not be that way.
Yeah.
And so that's how I think, but it was great. My daughters and I, like, we had 50-50 custody, and it was like when they were here, we just had so much fun, and then my goal was to be home by 5:00 every night, and I was when I had them. And then when they were gone, it was like working till the midnight oil kind of a thing, you know?
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, you guys know how that is. So yeah, it was like, it was great. I wouldn't change a thing. Like, it was the best thing that my husband at the time had an affair, because when you're in it, you don't realize how bad it is until you get out of it. And I think I probably would have ended up in jail for murdering him, or I would be dead if I would have stayed. Yeah. So it was, and I met just, many years later, after being a Black Widow for a while, met the most amazing, completely opposite life partner.
Awesome.
And I've been married for, almost 17 years. So it's like the best thing that could have happened.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
One question I'd like to ask as a follow-up on that, as entrepreneurs, like him and I experienced that. It sounds like you've experienced this, where from your perspective, what is it like juggling relationships and being so like driven to build this asset, right? How do you go about balancing that? I know that I've definitely struggled with that in my life, where I tell people like, hey, I just don't have time, when in reality, I'm making trades and I'm making choices to either spend time with people that matter. And sometimes I cloud myself in a lot of guilt of choosing certain things over others. So what's a reframe that potentially you could give me and Nadim, or just your perspective on that situation and balancing those things?
Coming from a workaholic. Okay, so
speaking to two, by the way.
Yes. And because I'm pretty bad, but like there's been times where I have to remind myself, like, first of all, I'll tell my husband, like, I don't think there's any such thing as balance. I think in life, you balance what needs most, you give most attention to what needs attention to, right? So, if you're building a business and you're, like starting when you're young, like you guys are young, so you should be working your 14 and 15 hour days, because you have the capacity, you have the bandwidth to, and you want to create more now, right? And I do believe that the two most important decisions you'll make is who you marry and your career.
Yeah.
Because, and so, I mean, it's been stages, right? Like, I mean, there's been times where, when my marriage needs attention, which it has in the past, then I put attention to my marriage, and because it's the most important thing. And my marriage is good, everything is good. It's the most important thing to me. But I'm also a massive workaholic, and so I've had to tell myself, because there's a lot to do about relationships as far as spending time with people. There's so much, about being happy. Like this weekend, I literally stopped what I was doing, because I will work every weekend, and said, "You're gonna go meet your girlfriends for wine." You're gonna stop. So I got up at 6, worked till 3, and then I stopped at 3 and met my friends, and then my husband, we had dinner. So it is a trade-off. And I mean, looking back, if I wish when my daughter graduated from high school, I remember I was so depressed, like, because even though I was home by 5:00 every night, I was on the phone constantly, because I averaged 133 homes a year as a solo agent, and that is a lot of homes.
Wow.
And so I looked back, and even though I was just on the phone a lot, so I wasn't as present as I wished I would have been. And I do regret that, right? Like, you can't get that back. And so now I have to remind myself, you can't get it back. Like, you're not going to, and my mom and dad remind me of this a lot. They're like, hey, a launch can wait. You're not going to ever, when you get to be our age, you're not going to wish that you had more launches or you worked more. And I have to remind myself, like, that's not what's important. It really, money's great, and we have as much as we can ever want, and we don't own one dime of debt on anything. But it's like, I tell my husband, we got to vacation more. We have to spend, more.
Right. You've built this life.
Yes,
now it's
and
time
now
to
we got to
enjoy
it. And I have a hard time because I want to work, So.
Does that hard time enjoying your life come out of guilt of any reason? Like, what What do you feel is your block to enjoying the life you've worked so hard and you've built so big?
I think I just love working so much. I mean, honestly, I love what I do.
Okay.
I love serving people. I love helping people. My husband, his hobby is race cars, like racing,
Cool.
dirt bike riding, all the boy stuff. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I remember he'd be like, I hope he goes racing so I could work. Like, that's so bad, you know? So, but we both respect each other's doing it. And then it's like, I need attention or I need time. And then we know to come back, you know, because we have dinner together every single night. But on the weekends, a lot of times he plays or he tinkers and I work. And so I have to like tell him like, okay, we need to do something, you know? So, yeah.
I personally align with that. And I love when somebody owns it because I don't have many hobbies either.
Yeah.
And I've wrestled for 25 years. Like that was my hobby, but that's also not a hobby. Or like I fought professionally. It's like, that's not a hobby. Like it's not really a hobby. It's a profession if you want to go into that, and getting kicked in the head is not a good profession.
Yeah. It's like me with bodybuilding.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like,
I noticed you guys a little buff when we hugged. I was like, oh, you guys are really good, you know?
I'm the smaller version of little. I call him little big bro.
Yeah,
because I'm 12 years older than him. Yeah. But so another business that I'm affiliated with, it's a somatic therapy training. So we work with individuals who are like high performers too. So it's on one end, we make thought leaders impossible to ignore. And then on the other spectrum, we have this work where we help them regulate their nervous system.
Yeah.
And so I'm in this middle ground, right? Yeah. And I'm so grateful for both of it. But the irony of it all is like, I fucking love what I do.
Me too.
Like, this is my hobby.
Yeah.
Like,
and you guys are very passionate about it and detailed, and you can tell that you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice working with you. I will tell you this, and I mean this in all sincerity. I have spent $1.9 million over the past 8 years hiring coaches, consultants, experts, like the best of the best. And it's getting harder and harder, and not to sound conceited, that I can find someone that can do something as well as we can, right? I mean, really, it's like, or that has the level of passion and care for people, like really wants to do the right thing, really puts it, like values work ethic. And you guys are on the top of the chain of it, really.
Wow.
And
much appreciated.
No, and it's completely honest. It's like I always tell everyone, before you buy anything, call me because I bought it all, right? You know, and it's like
fair.
Yeah, so you guys do a great job.
Yeah, that's a really great compliment. Thank you.
It's an honest one.
I'll share I remember after we met at acquisition.com, I was talking to Derek, and this might have been like day 2 or the day after or something, just having talked to you enough. And I was like, what I can tell, because there's one thing we do before we ever like actually sign a client, and is like we have to make sure we're aligned on like the character of the person, because for all the reasons, right? And I was telling Derek, I was like, one thing that really stands out, she cares a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Like I could tell you care a lot about your team and your people, just from what like you were saying. And it's also, so this is the somatic side of things, and call it woo-woo, call it whatever, but like our nervous system is an unspoken language. And so it's like what I could feel from you, right?
Which is hard because I'm a little hyped a lot. You know, I'm like, spazzy, but
But I could feel how much you care through it. So like the spazziness or the high energy was coming from a place of care.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, I personally love that. Yeah. Like I appreciate that. So that's good.
It's true. I do. I've had a saying my whole life: people before things, and the things will always come.
Yeah.
And another thing is, if you ever have to question something, is this right or should I do this? The answer is always no. Yeah. So like my team members are like my kids. It's like Mama Bear comes out, right? Don't mess with them. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, we have no a-hole policy, and that goes with my team too. And we literally just fired somebody about a couple weeks ago for being mean to the team.
Yeah.
And then I really want my students to get a good result. Like I'd be way more profitable if I didn't care so much, because we offer so much support and so much help. And like, it's
such
like
a real statement though.
Yeah.
Like that's
true.
so genuine.
We'd be way more profitable if we didn't care so much, because we would just, it's like, we don't want them to fail. Like we really want them to get a good result. And I love seeing it, you know, and it's like, I was a teacher before. So,
of course.
so I really care about that.
Yeah. There's so much conflicting like advice and mentorship and books and, you know, ideologies out there. And so, I mean, there's a wonderful book called Profit First. Great book.
I think I've read it, yeah.
Yeah, and there's another one called The Big Picture. And so what's interesting is like they're almost polar opposite from one another. And I take the stance of The Big Picture, which there's a great diagram where people are in the center, and then everything, it's a spoke on the outside, because without people, there's no profits. Without profits, there's no people, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people get intimidated by the word profit. Many people that I have in the past that I've consulted with are like get intimidated about profit, and usually it's because they don't know what the profit is.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention to it.
That's one thing that was great about being a part of Alex's thing, huh? Like, like you have to have your numbers dialed down, and it's been great, like as far as that goes.
Yeah. And so like having those scorecards, right? Like knowing how we are per workshop and webinar, or a lot of people that I've worked with or consulted with too. A lot of our clients, they have like cohort trainings, and so it's like, what's the profitability per training, right? So that's a really big one. And what we've discovered for some of our clients too, in particular, is that classic Pareto principle is that 20% is generating 80% of your revenue. And I was like, hey, you could kick rocks on these other 4 trainings and just do these 2. And I bet you would surpass, last year's numbers. Yeah. Right. Just focusing on that.
Yeah.
So
I have a thing that's called more, better before new. It's like, how do you do more of what's working?
Yeah.
How do you do better of what's working, right? Like from the whole phase of the sales cycle.
Well, we're aware, Krista.
Yeah. You guys know, yeah. Before you do new,
Can we do 3 webinars a week?
Yeah, God,
we could.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, okay, so how do we get more people to show up? How do we get them to stay? How do we get them to book? I mean, even the things that we even put in, like with like you guys brought in the cool like the setter, the collar afterward, not the collar, but the bot, the DM bot.
How can we squeeze more juice out of the fruit we already have?
Out of every little thing. So it's been fun, and I'm all about that because just little small tweaks in every phase can make massive impact.
Yeah. What else I've appreciated too is like, and this is. It's a delicate line to dance on. There's a lot of data that you have. I remember getting like all the spreadsheets in. It was like, drinks from a fire hose. Yeah. And I've also seen a lot of people track just for the sake of tracking. Yes. Right. And so there's 2 ends of the spectrum here is like, cool, you have a lot of data. And then we have to kind of like sift through to find the story. Because there's a story. The purpose of data is that it tells a story. Yeah. Right. And that is like, that's the part that I love. But it's also having enough data to find the story, and then it's figuring out what data actually matters, which gets into those keystone metrics that you were talking about a little bit earlier today. Yeah. And I think that's where we're at today with you as well. Is like we're finding these keystone metrics that work downstream.
Yeah.
Because I think the big takeaway from that, and in your role as a CEO, not only in Somatic but also for Praxis, is it seems like there's a spectrum of. And I would say more businesses fall on the side of like, they just driving blind. They're literally flying an airplane with all the gauges blank. And they're like, I just don't really know. Do we put ad spend into here? And the amount of businesses that we work with, it's kind of shocking that they're like, we made like 3 million top line. And I'm like, they don't know their profit. They don't know their cost per lead. I'm like, how are you making 3 million?
And I think so many people lie. I think that so many people exaggerate. Like, and that's, who was it? Oh, Bill Allen with the ClickFunnels CFO.
Yeah.
He came down, and we're really good friends, and he came down and worked with me, and he's like, first of all, Krista, you cannot run your company like a family, and then after 3 days of me, he's like, you can. You're actually one of the few people. And he always says, another coach I have is like, you are one of the few people that is honest about your numbers. Yeah. And also honest when, like I met you, I was like, it has been a shit show. Excuse my French, the past couple of years. It's been hard. Like I was I like an axe murderer in my last life? But with like, it's just been one thing after another. And I think that a lot of people don't talk about that. I think they should more. And I think that I don't think I know, like I say, like I'm a cockroach, and the fact that I always get back up, and no matter what, like you're not going to let me down. And my brain says, you know what, something really big is happening on the other end of this. And like, it's happening now. Like there is massive shifts in every right direction that's happening right now, but it's been a 3-year, like, what is happening, battle. And you have to have the belief that it will work as long as you're taking the right action, like really effective action, which I know we are. And you just keep going, like it will work. But I think very few people have that ability, right, to do that.
Yeah, there's I'm feeling a lot of mindset work here, and I've done,
coming out.
I've done a lot on Eastern philosophy, and there's the most, like one of the most famous quotes from the Buddha is that your thoughts shape your reality.
Oh, total.
Or if like you're a proponent of like Western philosophy, that's going to be Marcus Aurelius. It's the quality of your thoughts dictate the quality of your life. And so I'm a big proponent of putting that energy into belief. Yeah. We were actually talking last night about different like fuel sources for motivation.
Yeah.
Right. And motivation is very limited. It depletes. And so like fear and guilt personally are, and I struggle with it, but like what I remind myself is that fear and guilt are not good fuel sources.
No. So fear of what and guilt about what?
Yeah. So it could be guilt of, I think we were on the topic of, fucking off, like just like, just like wasting time.
Yeah, we were eating dinner at the table, and I was like kind of guilting myself. I'm like, I should get back on the laptop, and I struggle with that a lot.
What time was it?
Like 11 o'clock at night, I think.
Oh my gosh, you guys don't be psycho. You guys need to get off that. Trust me, don't. It's not a good.
It's a problem for me.
Habit.
It's one of my weaknesses, which is like
I'm giving you advice that I need.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, it's to the point now where I stop at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I stop at 5 and I try to really turn it off, the brain off. And like when my husband gets home, like he gets my full attention. It's like, I mean, because there's been times where he's like, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, I am. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I am listening.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, okay, I got to make sure like I'm listening and fully attentive, right? Not thinking about work or what I'm going to say, or it's just like really, and because they can feel it. And my husband's not a workaholic. He works, he's very much like I would say he actually is too, but just not to the level that I am. Most people aren't, but he has the same like servant heart type of a thing that he knows how to shut it off. Like he will get home.
That's great.
And he can shut it off. And we can go on vacation, he can shut it off.
That's
Whereas I'm like that mom on the laptop in the pool,
But he kind of pulls you back into alignment the other way.
He does,
which is what we were talking about at that dinner.
Yeah. It's just for me, so like there would be, fear is not really one, but fear in the past has been like a fuel source, especially like in my 20s. Again, I'm 36.
Yeah.
I'll be 36 soon, but that was a fuel source. And then like guilt could sometimes be a fuel source, very temporary fuel source, but
religious. What religion are you?
I'm Christian.
You're Christian. Okay, you just brought up Christian.
Yep. But we were going back and forth last night that I was expressing and sharing like that is not a good source.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I usually do, what that says to me, if I feel guilt and fucking off or slacking off, that is a signal that I'm not aligned.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not aligned with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're slacking
intuitively,
off. Like intuitively, if you're slacking off.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my signal, which I don't get that often. So
right.
but pretty good.
Switching gears a little bit. So we covered the two pieces, you presented the two pieces of who you marry and the career you choose. We talked a little about the relationship side and the fuel sources that you use to push forward. Why real estate? Like, what got you into that world? It seems like you were down the teaching path.
It's so funny,
you have a degree in psychology, right?
Yeah.
And then real estate, So can you talk a little bit about that transition and how you got into that?
So I was actually at work teaching, and I was thinking like, I want to do something else, and so one of my students' moms walks into classroom. And she was like, "Oh my God, I have so much money. I can't even cash it. Like these checks." And I literally walked to the phone. I called looked up real estate school and called I made right then. And because I was like, I believe in signs, I believe in signs. Like, this is a sign. I should do this.
Oh, okay.
And then my daughter I got my license, and I was just gonna play real estate. My daughter got sick, and then everything changed, and I just went hit, and then my husband left, and so it was right.
Wow.
And that's one thing I think very successful people do. I'm a very fast decision maker. And I take I don't think myself out of things, whereas a lot of people do, right?
Yeah.
So I signed up, and then 69 houses my first year, and it was I literally I was a teacher for 6 years with a master's degree, making $60,000. My first year in real estate, I made $670,000. I 10x'd.
Life changed.
Yeah, life changed. And then I got single. I was hot and young and single. I didn't need a man. I hated men. Of course, they all wanted me because I was the more you don't want, the more they want you. And I was living so large, and it was just so much fun. Yeah, it was all the history from there.
So in that first year, what personality trait or decision did you make that led to such a big success? Because a lot of people, the common wisdom is building wealth or building a skill, all the friction is in the beginning to get the momentum going, to get the ball rolling. And then once you're winning, continuing to win becomes a lot easier. Sounds like you won right out of the gate.
Well, it wasn't that. I just I had a very compelling why, right? My why was I need to keep my daughters in this house and keep them safe. And because of my upbringing. And when I talk about the upbringing, just clarify this really quickly. It was like I lived in a house that was very loving mom and dad, very two loving brothers. And then there was the abuse that also happened, right? And so it was a really hard time because when I left home, it was devastating for me because we were a very close religious family and we vacationed together and we like camping. We didn't have a lot of money, but like camping, and they were great parents. And then there was the side of my mom from her upbringing, and she's been so instrumental in my health, right, in recovery from the abuse when I was younger. Okay. But so I just wanted to get that clear because my guilt of that, even talking about it, I didn't talk about it forever until just a couple years ago. Oh. So. Okay, the question
was, is there anything you did or decision you made or a personality trait that contributed to such a huge success in year number 1 right out of the gate?
Yeah, so, I mean, I just love people is one thing, and, like, I'm just do. It's like...
Right. So
like
you've always had that built into you of just more, and we'll just test it till it breaks?
I can remember these people came into the office once, and they were like, we want to go see that log cabin house. And I'm like, well, it's abandoned. And so I'm like, let's go. So I like somehow broke into the house, and then like somebody comes in with a shotgun. They're like, you're trespassing. And I'm like, sorry, I'm just trying to sell your house. I'm just trying to see if you might want to sell. They want to buy it. And like, it's like, that's kind of like the story of
Did you sell it?
No, I didn't. Okay. It was like condemned. It was like a condemned house for years and years. Wow. Condemned log cabin. But just very,
but it's
very,
a listing, right?
very aggressive, just in a good way. And just take really good care of people. Like one of my first client, Bobby Jones, he sent me a text message and he's like, look what I found. It was like me from Realty World Delta Country, and we're still friends, and he's worked with me forever and given me so many referrals. So, it's like, I like to be liked. I think before in the past, like liking to be liked was it's not as good when you're coaching.
Sure.
Because it's like I always want to please everybody and you can't, Right. So I think that helps a lot. Like you love people, you want to do a good job, you really do a good job, and you put like if it meant helping the person, it was like the money didn't matter, it's just like, let me just do the right thing, and it's just paid off like zillion folds,
Yeah. 10 out of 10 times we'll choose
and
that.
your guys were like that. Like you should, you should. I was like, wow, these guys, like, you don't meet people like that very often.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 times we'll choose that archetype, that person, because it's a character trait.
Yeah.
Out of anyone else.
Like, but yours the same. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, like, I don't. Who wants to be rich alone? And I really believe this. Like,
great question.
Like, I mean, I remember I had a launch. So when I won Tony and Dean's like top 10, I was number 2. I was like, last minute. I was like, part of what I offered was like a 2-day in-person event. And so I was like, let's make an offer. So like we made an offer with like 1.3 million, I think it was, just like to selling to that for 100 people in the room.
Casual.
100 people in the room. And so I gave like, don't get your excited, Haley, but I gave like $100,000 bonus to Chelsea, $100,000 bonus to Chrissy. I'm like, this is unexpected money, and here you go.
That's
and they
amazing.
both people are like,
wow,
normal people don't do that shit. And I'm like, you're right, normal people don't, but I don't want to be normal people, and I want to to go them to go with me. And so recently we just had a good week, and so I gave not like that, but I was like, okay, I'm going to give $2,500 like 8 people that are my people, and I want to get to the point where I can get back to that. Like I want to be able to help the people that help me. Yeah, and I mean really too. It's not like it's important to me. Like I'm fine. I want them to be
that.
too.
Yeah, God bless.
But I still have that feeling in me, like kind of like you said, fear. There's still that. Like, oh man, it's not enough, and I don't not like in a not enough way, but in like a safety and security way. And I think now with AI, like I'm now even more determined to really, I want to be a billionaire. I want it to just protect my daughters and my bonus son and their kids.
Yeah, we were talking about more last night.
Yeah.
All right. And I've mentioned my age a few times. Decade older than him, and so we're different stages of our life.
I'm almost 2 decades older than you.
I love it. You're rocking.
You've been a real estate agent as long as I've been alive for context.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. It's inspiring. It is. So we're talking about more, and
so you're like 10, Kevin?
Yeah, around there, yeah.
24.
Yeah, 24.
But we're talking about more, and I personally, I suppose one of my hobbies is like I really love theology and philosophy. Like I love the teachings, the wisdoms, the words that come from it, and I marinate on them. Like I think about them a lot, and like one of my other best
You're
friends,
very soulful, like yogi.
Yeah. And Derek, my other best friend, very similar. Mm-hmm. And my background, I started a cannabis company when I was 21, and I sold it after 10 years. And that's very parallel to the psychedelic industry,
Yeah.
which, kind of gets into that. But neither here nor there on that side. We were talking about more, and my response was like, more is a mind virus, right? Like there's
Okay, explain that.
yeah. So more being like this desire for more. And then, and I will explain that, but we came to a conclusion of clarity amongst Derek, Kevin, and I, that if more comes from a place where you just spoke from, which is like the desire to give, the desire to do good, what the Western philosophers would call summum bonum, that is the good of all, right? That is very healthy.
Yeah.
That is very healthy. That is the point.
I think both are, though.
That is.
I think both are healthy. I think so. Like my housekeeper a couple years ago, and I there's so many stories like this that people tell me that I've given them money and I don't even remember doing it. Like literally, they're like, my mom's like, "Oh, remember her husband died and you paid for the funeral and I'm like, no, I don't remember." But like my house cleaner was at my house and I just love her. She's like the happiest lady all the time. And I was like, Emiliana, like you're always so happy. And her husband had a stroke. And I said, how are you so happy? She goes, Chris, I just am. And I was like, she's like, it's been so hard. And she starts telling me all these things. So I just gave her $25,000, like right there. And she was like just started crying. And she's like, you have no idea. My husband hasn't worked in 6 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And that I want to be able to do that at any time without ever even flinching.
That.
And we do like Happy Tipper where it's like, well, we give $10,000. Like I do it Happy Tipper every year. And the only thing I ever talk about telling people when I do things like that, because I don't ever tell people, is during Happy Tipper because it's Christmas time and I want to, and people come like, oh, you're doing this to show people. And I'm like, dude, if you have no idea, like this is so fun to watch somebody's, face. And usually it's like always the one like that you're hoping really needs it, or that like, and there's so many times where it's like, you have no idea, like you just, like my sewing lady, you did it for her and she's like, you don't even know, like and it's like, oh yay, I picked the right person kind of a thing, and you pick the nice people or sometimes not the nice people because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But I love doing that. Like I literally prayed, I'm like, please help me to continue to be wealthy and all the things so I could just keep, making everybody else wealthy. Like I really want to do that. I think money's great. And I think having a lot of money is great. And I love money and I love giving money. And I think I don't think it's bad to want more. I want more.
That more is the good. That's the fuel source.
And I want to be able to. I want a jet too. Just all
fuck yeah, let's get the PJ.
Okay,
we want to help you get closer to the PJ.
I don't like having to do.
We want to start. We want to start another 31-month streak for you. That's what we want to do. Okay. Yes. Just on the Webby alone.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you sent me a text a couple weeks ago, and you're like, I'm feeling back to my old self. Is that still feeling true for you?
Even more so. And isn't this old self? It's just like. It's like, it was just like one thing after another, right? It was like, gosh, I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, something huge is going to be at the end of this. Like, there's something really, really big. And I really believe that when things are bad, it's like the brain goes, okay, I have trained myself. I have this thing called stop, shift, and switch. But anyways, I've trained myself to know like, oh, this is good. And sometimes I'll have a little pity party, but it doesn't last very long at all.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Good stuff. So then moving along in the timeline a little bit, you were a real estate agent, you crushed it for 2 decades. Then you made the pivot into starting an online business, coaching real estate agents. When did that transition come? Like when were you called and felt like that was the right decision to make? Because obviously it's been a huge success. So tell us a little bit about that transition period.
Well, I should have done it sooner. So I had the calling like 4 years prior.
Okay.
But I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like 43 when I first wanted to do it. And then I went to Tony Robbins' event and I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I was like, I was scared. And so finally I was reading the book, Think and Grow Rich. No, that was the Teens Lifting Lives one. I got to a point where I was so tired and I was like, I knew I wanted to do it. I just called my brother and said, hey, I'm going to do the coaching thing. He's like, okay, in a couple months. I go, tomorrow. Come over tomorrow. You and Kathy. I'm going to literally, you guys are taking over the business. I'm going straight into coaching. That's why I did it. And my parents were like, my husband's like, babe, are you sure? Like, because I was more of the breadwinner. And like, I was making like about $1.8 million a year in GCI as a real estate agent, 47 at the time. And my husband's like, he wants to do racing and all those fun things. He doesn't want me to stop making money, right? And then my parents were like, are you sure, honey? We love you so much, but normal people don't leave their awesome career that's making almost $2 million a year at 47 years old. Nobody's going to pay you to coach them. And we don't mean that other than like, they thought they were helping me, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't know I was like exhausted from real estate. Like selling 100, like I sold 154 homes the year
Wow.
before as a solo agent, the year before I left. And it is like, and I went to every closing. I went to every inspection. I was in front of every client. You could never say I wasn't the best customer service. And so there's a lot that take a toll, right? And so the reason that I think the fear of me continuing on for 10 more years like that was scarier than failing.
Of course.
So that was kind of like what made me just finally do it.
Yeah, the self-awareness.
And the calling of people saying, you should be coaching, you should be coaching, you should be coaching. I heard it all the time. I was like, someone's trying to tell me this.
Yeah,
Right.
that self-awareness is like really important. Do you remember your first coaching, like you're signing your first coaching client?
You know what's crazy is I don't. I mean, I remember a couple of them that I was like, I don't know if I should take their money. Like one lady, she was like, this is my last $10,000. And I was like, they're like, should we take it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, do it. And I found out later that she was in an abusive relationship. Her son had almost committed suicide. And by coaching with me, she 200x'd her life. And she left him, helped her son. She's remarried now. And she tells it all the time, like, you saved my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, cool.
So
Always take their money.
Wow, very similar story to yours, it sounds like then.
Very similar. Yeah. But we do have a no wait hold policy. Like it's real too. Like we will not take everyone's money. We don't want to work with people that are like that. I'm really protective of my group. So
yeah.
I'm like, if you can tell, because you can kind of tell sometimes, like if
you can tell.
Don't do it because it like one weed can just take everyone down. They want to take the crabs with them. So we have we're very selective of who we let in, and we literally
very important.
That's why we have such a great group. People are with me for 7. Everyone's with me for 8 years.
Wow.
Like we have people, and on our panel, they're like, "Why is everybody with you for so long?" I'm like, "Because they don't want to leave. My goal is to keep it great, so they don't want to leave." Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah,
we have a very similar philosophy here at Praxis too, which is like if I ever am doing an audit for a client account, or I'm asking them like, "Hey, how much you want to spend on marketing?" and I hear any language around this has to work, or this is like our last 10 grand to spend on this ad budget, I'm just like, no, because nothing's ever really a guarantee. And we just can't ethically say that we're going to make you a 4x return or a 5x return. Like, I call myself a sophisticated gambler because I do believe that marketing at some level is a gamble. It's a calculated risk. And so we don't want to take anybody's last dollar because
and also not everyone's good at selling. Like,
that too.
That's a big factor.
Yeah, it's a
huge factor. Yeah.
Which is like, we don't want to take on the risk of that. But we also we don't want to be involved because it puts a pressure and like a desperation energy on the campaign. And I've got this spiritual thing when I put ads out into the market or a marketing campaign, when there's pressure of it having to work, I've always found it performs worse.
Yeah.
It's just an energy thing versus when it's like, cool, we're smooth sailing. Obviously, we want to make a return. We don't ever want to waste money. But when there's not that pressure there, things just always tend to perform better.
I think it's a life thing too. Like, I mean, it's so funny because I'll have students and they're like, some people, I mean, in real life, in a coaching program, right? Like 30% of people will have the most awesome success and 70% just won't, right? Or you'll have 2 people doing the exact same thing. And you can just tell from their energy. Like you can just tell from the way they show up, their attitude, they're smiling. It's like they're energized, their energy, It's like, so my favorite compliment that I can get is, I love your energy. And I used to be when I was younger, like, oh, you're hot, Now it's like, I love your energy. And it's like, thank you. Like, that's the best compliment because it's like,
it's big. It's infectious. Like it's that unspoken language.
Yeah.
That like when you walk into a room and people are like, I don't know why, but I like you.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't
like
put my
I
finger
just
on it.
like that. I can't put my finger on it. It's like that. Like, leave them guessing.
It's too funny too. I totally believe in, the universe and God, of course, too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anything happens. We both showed up at that event. Like
first 2 people there.
Only the 2 of us here. Half an hour early. You don't even you were telling me you were a somatic person, right? And then I was like, somehow I was like, oh, I'm here because of this, and you were like, oh my God, like it was so crazy. I'm like, this is meant to be. I called Chrissy, I'm like, we found a new ad soup. This is, literally, I'm sending out my stuff. You're in my account within an hour. Like that's successful people. You literally were like, Kevin, do this. Kevin's on
I got a FaceTime in intermission. I got this lead for you. I'm like, all right, I'm here.
I need you to do an audit now.
But that's how successful people do it. Like they do it. They don't wait. Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't by chance that happened. It was pretty cool.
That was.
And we understand our audience too, which is like why when he sent me, I could hear the urgency that this was a valuable project. And I cleared my afternoon. I'm like, I got 3 emails from Carrie with all these spreadsheets, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I just sat down, knocked it out, and put together a game plan. And it seemed like that decision was kind of made within damn near by the end of the event.
Yeah.
And we just kind of then put together, signed the dotted line, and got the deal over the line, and now we're working together. In terms of the workshop model, because obviously that's what we do here at Praxis, is we make thought leaders impossible to ignore through virtual events, workshops, webinars, 3-day challenges. Why did you decide to choose that model to grow your coaching business out of all the ways out there to grow a coaching business?
So I was being coached by Russell Brunson at the time. So he was my first initial coach when I left real estate. And I was actually watching a webinar, and I just watched a webinar, never knew what a funnel was, like paid $15,000, flew to Boise within like a week, and I'm, learning about funnels. And
casually.
Yeah. And then I paid an extra $35,000 to join his inner circle. Yeah. So, which by the way, you have to get chosen, and the lady next to me didn't get picked. Oh, wow. They denied her, so I walked in. I'm like, "Hey, she's actually pretty cool," and they let her in. And she like tells everyone that now. And she's been a wild success with them. Stacey Martino, actually, yeah, she tells the story all the time. But she's like, "Kristen, I'm only in because of her because they told me no." Wow. Anyways, but God, I don't know what it was, but I remember. Like Russell said, write a book, and so I wrote a book, and then, and he was teaching webinars, and I don't know how it happened, but what I did was I remember thinking, I suck at webinars. You call me the webinar queen, but I don't consider myself a good webinar person. But I consider myself the best in the world at 3-day events. I don't think you'll find anyone that can sell as good as me, for a lot of reasons, but I'm pretty much hard. It sounds conceited, but it's like I wrote the book $1 Million Months, right? Yeah. I know how to develop a relationship with people and to really help them to believe in themselves over a longer period of time. So the biggest issue at an event, whether it's a webinar or a 3-day or a challenge, is to get people to believe that they can actually do it. Yeah. And so belief in self, right? And then secondly, belief in the vehicle. Like, this is exactly what you need to make this happen. And third, that they need your help to get there. Those are the 3 things that you have to do throughout the entire event. Yeah. And I don't know. I just remember seeing the perfect webinar and thinking, okay, I don't really believe it's the perfect webinar as far as like spend the first 45 minutes, talking about your story and all that. Like, people are like, get to it, man. And so I remember taking that and thinking, how can I deconstruct the perfect webinar into a longer cycle? Because I suck at selling on a webinar. Sure. Like I just suck at it, but I can sell, $25K all day long at a 3-day event to the worst avatar in the world right now, which is real estate agents. Yeah. So yeah. So people are like, how are you doing? And I'm like, it is the model, Right. So yeah, I'm a fan of it.
So that's an interesting follow-up question. Is it the model, or is it something that you're doing? So my question is as somebody who's done 31 consecutive $1 million months at some point in your career.
I think it was 26. Was it 31?
The number that I found was 31. Oh, wow. 26, 31. Love that. Wildly impressive. Is there a piece of advice or a strategy you can give to somebody watching right now?
I can, yeah.
For selling on the 3-day event? And then why do you think there's a difference between you selling on a webinar and 3-day event? Like, couldn't the same strategy be applied to both?
Because especially for real estate events are like my friend Chirac, he's also a real estate coach and different type of audience, but he's like, when people ask me about realtors, I say, take somebody from Mars, and and he's like, that's a real estate agent, because they don't invest in. It's like whammo, you take a few classes for a few hours, and next thing you know, you are in control of somebody's most biggest asset that they'll ever deal with, which is their home. And so it's super easy to get your real estate license. 87% of real estate agents fail within the first. 67% fail within the first year. Wow. And 87% fail within the first 3 years. So it's very low success rate. And so they're hard to sell to, right? Because they're not used to investing. And so I'm losing my train of thought. But what question? Where was I going with this?
So is there a...
Oh, yes. Okay. I'll tell you what it is. Yes. This is something that... So first of all, I have watched so many different events, like whether it's webinars or 3-day events or challenges that are totally not in my like career, right? Mm-hmm. To see things that work and things that don't work. And so one of the biggest mistakes and I was a teacher, right? So I have a degree in curriculum and instruction. So I understand and psychology. So I understand how people think, and I also understand how to teach in a way that people will actually be able to implement. Mm. And so, Kevin, to your point, one thing that no one does well, and I wrote a book called $1 Million Months, and I go over all of this in the book really, really in great detail, is that they will, so anytime, and this is very helpful too. I don't always explain it right, but so like, for example.
Put us on game, Krista. Put us on game.
I know. Okay. So what, like, for example, one of the things that I teach when I'm selling is I teach Facebook ads. And so I teach like one-to-many marketing, and like what most real estate agents are doing is it's transactional. It's one-to-one. It's cold calling, door knocking. It's one-to-one. But when you can market one-to-many, right, then I call it the monetization multiplier. That's when your level of income can increase because you're putting yourself in front of more people. Mm-hmm. And as long as when you do that, you add a lot of value. And so it's like you reach more people, you add more value, you're going to be more likely to influence them, right? So the monetization multiplier. So then when I teach Facebook ads, it's like, okay, the monetization multiplier, it's one-to-many is through Facebook ads, right? And a part of the monetization multiplier is also innovation, like being innovative when you're marketing. How do you be innovative and unique? Well, then I teach funnels. No one's teaching funnels, right? Or that's part of my offer. Yeah. Or I teach, innovation and one-to-many marketing. You're an author. You're going to become co-author with me. That's one-to-many marketing. It's also innovation. No one else is doing it. So it's like you teach a principle or a framework, which is the monetization multiplier, and then every single thing that you teach after relates to that in some way. Yeah. So you're constantly reiterating the principle to the product, and it relates to each one, right? Yeah. Another one is like, okay, it's like Blockbuster versus Netflix. Why did Netflix take over? Okay, well, Netflix was innovative, right? Netflix changed the way they were doing things, and so then that principle gets aligned to each one. Okay, is an author innovative? Yes, no one's doing it. Do any real estate agents have they ever created a course? Because I teach them how to create a course. No, okay, you're creating a course on selling and buying as a part of the author. Okay, is any other are any of them are they doing authority funnels? No. So it's like, and the authority funnel is also one-to-many marketing. Yep. So it's like, it's it's having a principle that you teach, and then everything that you are selling as a part of your offer, you keep reiterating that principle back to it. So it sets it into them. I have not seen anyone do that. And I'm in a mastermind, and I was teaching, he read my book and he's doing this, and he's like, okay, so I went to one of his events and he's like, okay, 100K, is it 100K idea, right? And then, but he only did it one time. So it's like, okay, I'm next, great, one time. It's like you do it after every principle you teach. And so it's like not enough people do that. They don't reiterate what they are learning. And this is so funny, I didn't realize this is how it's like. So when I was a teacher my first year, I taught like, plus these subtraction and, fractions and all these different things. Well, I didn't understand as a teacher that like after I taught fractions or plussing or minusing that I had to keep teaching it. So I remember we were preparing for like the they test you at the end of the year, like the state test. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, guys, like here's your thing. And no one remembered how to plus, and I was like, Shah! So I had to like spend like 60 days completely reteaching everything that I had taught. And so that was my first year. And so for that point forward, I remember I teach, because they didn't give you like your stuff. So that we made our own like worksheets and stuff. So I would teach subtraction, and then I'd make sure, okay, there's addition on this worksheet and subtraction. And then I'd teach fractions, and it'd be like quick addition, subtractions, and fraction on every homework. So they didn't ever lose the skill. Yeah. It's the same thing that's kind of similar to that.
Yeah, you just keep driving it into them, keep driving it in, keep the message at the forefront. Yeah. Right? The one big
and there's multiple of them. Like there's like 3 or 4 that I'll do. And I just like, people are like, I remember I taught my virtual event model to a couple people, and they're like, why do you keep repeating this? Like your slides. I'm like, it's the framework. You're repeating it after each time because you're solidifying the principle to the product.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
People need to be reminded more than need to be taught.
100%.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you can drive home the one belief that makes your product the clear and obvious next step, like you've won the battle. Like you've gotten them to make that belief.
Another reason I really like multi-day events, especially when you have like an infectious energy, is the rapport that you're building over time. Right? It's you've got to be elite. And oftentimes it's only like a biz op offer that will work really well for like a one-time 90-minute or one-time 45-minute webinar. But these multi-day events, again, like there's not a world where you spend 3 days with somebody and you don't develop a relationship, right? And like that, I think, is more important than anything because it's connection, right? And like we're connection craving beings. We desire connection, right? And so over 3 days, it's really easy to establish that connection.
It's called a parasocial relationship. So
yeah.
a parasocial relationship is basically the person on the other side of the screen develops a relationship. It's like have you ever cried watching TV or you hate the bad guy, you love the good guy?
Yeah,
You've
movies
developed
all the time.
a parasocial relationship.
Yeah.
And one thing I will also say is one of the things I hear more than anything is like, I love how authentic you are. Like people just like be really real and not try to be perfect and and they just resonate with that so much. And that's why the storytelling, right, about like, hey, is really important and just being real. I think people can really sense that. So that's why I'm saying some people's like, I don't care what you tell them, teach them or how good they are. Like some people just, you can sense.
You can feel it.
That they're not good people.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're not going to sell as much, you know, and so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you've entrusted us in running your live events to help you achieve your mission of helping real estate agents transform their lives through selling more homes. And it just happened to me, guys. I lost my train of thought.
I love it. Love it.
You have some? I love you.
Awesome.
Oh, sweet.
Good job,
See, that was the universe sending
I want 4 of them. Did they send it to you?
Yeah, I do that.
Oh, I've never DoorDashed. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, honey.
Perfect.
You're awesome. I appreciate it so much. This is one of the things on my list I always remember to bring. Maybe I'll just do 3.
Yeah,
so
don't kill her.
Yeah. I haven't eaten yet. I'm like, oh my God, my kidneys are going to be. No.
We got a 3-day coming up.
Yeah.
It's recorded.
The 3 days recorded. So I remember one time I was at a Russell's. I'm like, hey, you see my thing? I turned on. I'm like, here I am.
I
there
love
too.
it.
And they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, in my team, like I remember one time Ashley, she was like, I did not remember. Like you can't even tell that it's not. She's like, is that recorded or not? You know, and it's like, yeah.
I love it. Are we live today, team?
Yeah. And one thing you guys talked about, which is really important. So you talked about like not having quantifiable numbers.
Yeah.
So one thing that we did and still do is we'll just test one thing. So for example, I was told once from a coach, like you should just send him to book a call.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh man, okay, I'll try it. And he coached me on it. And so we lost $900,000 that month. We had $367,000 of people go to a link and purchase a $24,000 program. But we should have made, because we know the numbers, I had my numbers. I was like, oh my gosh, that was not good because people wanted to be able to talk to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Your guys' thing turned off. And then we tried it again. We're like, let's test it again. Maybe I didn't do it right, And so we lost like close to like $400,000. So we're
TV help, please. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
No, lame.
Oh, there you go.
We're good, Haley.
You got it, Haley. Thanks, honey. Yeah. So, anyways, it's really important to test certain things, right? And we'll test like offers, or we'll test like giving more bonuses, or we'll test like certain things on the landing page. Always trying to test because I want to see what moves the needle, whether it's good or bad.
So I take it you found direct to checkout sells more, or have you found a hybrid, or have you found
100,000%. Anytime I think it's over, like, let me just give you numbers recently, okay? Especially at a $24,000 offer. Yeah. People want to talk to somebody.
Of course.
Especially
it's
real
a huge
estate agents.
decision.
It's a huge decision. I would be like, oh, I like this. Here you go. But I'm not normal. So now what we're doing is we just had a challenge, and we did on day 2, we dropped the offer, and they were with me 3 hours the first day and 3 hours the second day too. And to book a call, and I think we did like 20 sales to the book, just right to the link, right?
Okay.
So the numbers are this now. It's exactly. I just checked it today. Half went to the link and half booked a call.
Yeah.
So, and we did. I think we're like $270,000. And so some people just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So I think even for a lower ticket offer, because you don't make money so much on the lower ticket offer, right?
Yeah.
The goal is to send them to the next offer.
The ascension. Yeah.
And we really lose money on the lower ticket offer because we have so much customers support and help in it, because we want them to get a result and we want to help them to do well, And my model, not everyone's probably like that, because you can make it a 5K offer work, right? But we just are like support, help, the because I know I'm going to send them. My goal is to send at least 30% to the $20,000 offer. But But if you always add a book a call, especially when you will convert more.
Yeah.
And also, there's massive conversions from day 2 to day 3. So, like some people, I don't believe that it's a. People say they're analytical buyers. I think they're just question buyers. They just have more questions. They need more proof. They just
snowflakes.
Yeah,
they're unique, and snowflakes meaning I'm a unique snowflake, and my question is very unique, and I need to talk to somebody.
Yes, some people
to have that answer for me.
And some just they need to know that you're real, and they need to be talked into it, right? So it's like I think if you ever are selling anything above $5,000 or even anything, I think if you should have it, and you don't need to pay a lot in commission at all because you're doing the selling.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're spending, if half are going to a link and it's like they're doing literally a 20 minute sales call, it's not a sales call. It's a
cashier call.
Yeah. Do you take Visa or MasterCard? It's like
we have an internal joke, and we say we want to turn our clients' salespeople into cash collectors.
Yeah.
Where it's like we just make it like we could pull you from Walmart and stick you into the sales process because we try to make it so easy.
Yeah.
So our prospects come in super well framed. They've already consumed a bunch of content. You guys are just buttoning up the details and making it easy.
At Somatic, the business that I run, our commission's 5%, right, on those calls. And that's because, again, the upfront and cost and ads. Amazing.
No.
What are you at?
I don't delete that. First of all, we're deleting the 5% thing. I want my team hearing this. So.
Yeah. I mean, we're on a $4,000 offer. It's not a $25,000 offer, so a little different. But I mean, the amount that we put into ads, and then all of our leads 99% of our leads come from the workshops, right? And they stack month over month over month, right? Because of the post attendance, like it fills the lull until the next workshop.
Well, I don't think most people realize what it costs to like truly have a coaching company where you're really coaching and you're helping and support. Like, man, it is. Yeah. I mean, I've had $700,000 overhead months. Like we're getting it down now because of AI, which we still haven't talked about AI, but that'll be another podcast. I'm so obsessed with it. I want to hear all your setup because I think mine might be better.
We'll carve out some time to talk to it at the end.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we'll have some time.
Yeah, but anyway, I keep losing my train of thought. So, anyways, sorry.
It's cool.
Yeah. One quick thing I want to cover before we get to the AI stuff, because I know that you're excited about that. So I want you to be able to nerd out for the audience, but. In terms of choosing an agency, like we've all spent, everybody in this room, you mentioned $1.9 million in agency. If it's out there, I've bought it. What is your decision-making process, and what factors do you consider when hiring an agency to do something as important to a business as marketing?
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a lot of good, a lot of bad out there.
Yeah, they have to obviously have a lot of systems. Like you guys are great with your dashboards and like you know your numbers and you know your metrics and you also understand conversion rate optimization, right? Which is really important. We're always looking at that. It's important. I do go by gut. Like I'm a people person. The last ad agency that I have, I really like them. Like they were great. And like I remember I met you, I told them like I was honest with them because I just believe in full transparency. And like people before things, really great people. And honestly, if I just had the owner, it would have been amazing but it was spread too thin. And so he wasn't able to be as involved as with his team. Right. And so he just couldn't do it. I mean, I told you that one weekend they spent $65,000 more in a weekend, more than they were supposed to. And I was like, that is my entire profit and even worse than that because it was just hard, So it's making sure they have experience. They're reporting their numbers. We liked to meet more than you guys were like, oh my God, there's meetings. I'm like, I know we have to meet because it's, it's a big thing, right? And we're spending, $200,000 or $100, whatever a month on ads. Yeah. So, like good communication is really important. And you guys were honest. You guys were like, no, I had 2 offers. And you were like, we just want to take one.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that tells me that they really care about doing a good job, not just the money, which is great. And you've shown that a lot of ways, actually. So,
yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else that you want to add on that sort of topic?
Yeah, we'll swoop your 5-day challenge now.
Okay.
No, we can move on.
You guys already said that you guys are at capacity.
We're gonna jump on the we're gonna jump on the book funnel. There's a difference though between
we like to go deeper with fewer clients rather than before expanding.
There's a difference between extending the product suite within an existing client versus the friction and operational drag of taking on a new client.
Oh, yeah,
that's very, very different because there's the whole learning curve. There's the auditing the funnels. else. Like it's always better if we can start from the ground up. 10 out of 10. Like that's always better. So yeah, there's a small distinction there, but yeah.
Well, you guys kind of have now, haven't you? Because remember, I was like, I don't want to just use the same stuff. I want to make sure it's different. My whole goal was, if I wanted to use the same thing, I'd just keep it. So you guys are
Right. So let's transition into AI.
Okay, so
where do you want to start?
What's your setup? Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So my setup is, so we have an operating system, which is like the brain, which is all like the funnel frameworks and the voice, the tone, the credentials, the offers, the avatar, like, and so much more is built into the,
Is that through Obsidian?
Hold on.
Okay.
No,
okay.
it's not. So that's a part of it. So the main stack is and I believe that every single person is teaching this incorrectly. All the bullshit you see out there on skills and agents and all these things, it sounds so sexy. It can be done, but they're all doing it wrong. Like people are so, I use Perplexity and I use Claude, I use Claude Code, Claude Cowork, Claude Desktop, I use Manus for this, I use GenSpark, okay, well, you should only be using one thing. You should be using Claude Desktop. And you should be utilizing code on Claude Desktop, and you should be operating through your folder, which has your entire brain in it. And there's so many things built into the brain, like automatically, syncing to GitHub. So that isn't attached to Obsidian. Obsidian is just a visual, clean kept file of what's in the folder. And then it's automatically getting sent to GitHub, which is now everything that's on your folder. So in case you actually lose your folder. Right now, if something happened to Claude or ChatGPT or GenSpark and you lose everything. You lose all your agents, you lose your brain, you own nothing. So what we are doing is we're using that setup. Claude Desktop using Claude Code with the whole brain in the folder, which the brain is insane. The AI is only as good as the brain that you build it on, right? I call it the operating system, and then that's attached to Obsidian, so you can visually see it, which gets updated. Anything on here gets updated on the folder and to Obsidian, and it gets sent to GitHub, which is a third way of protection. So that's how we're doing it. And like, I'm just crazy and so insane, like love it so much what it can do. I'm like, oh my God, I built up my whole challenge, like the workbook, the slides,
cool.
Everything you can imagine in like on a Friday.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, team, I know what can be done. So you guys better shake your ass and work a little harder, because like I just built a whole freaking challenge in a matter of a day with everything that you need, including here's the funnel, what you need to put on it. Oh my gosh, yeah. So.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Running a very similar operating system.
Yes.
Yeah. The one thing I'm not using is Obsidian. And that is just because I mentioned that I nuked everything and have now going back in through a 12-week training, like with a particular group. But running the parallel playbook there, which is Claude on desktop, I pulled all other AIs. I was like, all this other stuff is noise. Exactly what you just shared. Like I got into code when it first came out in like January. And then when it came out on desktop, I really started going hard on it. And then that's when I pulled the plug on everything else.
Yeah.
I will say Codex has come out, JetShibi's Codex.
I know. So listen, so what we have done is we have Codex also attached to it. So, and it's same memory. So when Claude Code goes down, Claude Codex, because my guy just said the same thing, we have that as well. And he literally told me, so I love Manus, right? Yeah. And he's like, Krista, he's like, you think Manus is better. You could always attach Perplexity, attach the API, right?
Claude smashes it.
And also the reason why it's so good is because right now it's really truly acting as a partner. So I have my Slack is literally connected. My Gmail's connected. My calendar's connected. I have all these other, connectors that when it makes a decision, it's reading everything.
Yeah.
Anytime you're using ChatGPT and GenSpark and Manus and all these different ones, none of them are speaking to each other.
Exactly.
They don't remember everything. Even when you are on regular Claude, if you're using a project, it doesn't get remembered unless it's a new project you bring in your brain. You're using chat, it doesn't remember. None of it's talking to each other. So this way, when you use it with the setup that we're doing, it's literally analyzing all and everything when it's making its decision. So
it's
for
so
me,
good.
like it's crazy,
Yeah, it is so good. And what I found is the folder architecture.
Yep.
Like that is so important. And I got to a point to where it got way out of hand. And this was a few weeks, no, it was longer than a few weeks ago. But I just did it again. So it's very, like, I don't know where you're at on Claude Code, but there's Claude Code on desktop and then there's Claude Code on terminal.
Oh no, I do not like it on terminal.
Okay.
I
I understand why.
So yeah, no, I hate
understand
that
why.
we first started that, and it took me 12 hours. I'm like, oh my god! But you don't need it terminal though when you have Claude Code on desktop.
You don't need it. I will say it is fucking powerful. It is powerful. Okay. Just because you can switch through modes and there are more those / the bash commands.
Yeah.
There's more commands that you can use. So like
Really?
there's like ultra mode and like ultra planning. And so like the plan mode is probably the most useful on
They
terminal.
have plan on Claude Code desktop.
Did they?
Yes, they have plan.
Okay.
And I was just talking, you literally, if you're ever going to start like anything that's more than just like you put it on plan mode.
Yeah.
So, and you give the context and
So
it asks
good.
you all the questions. Yeah, I love it. We always do that too. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I might be able to beat you on this one. Well, I have a coach and now he helped me. We literally built an AEO GEO, and this is on a separate folder because it's how he's building it. So he's literally studying 15 hours a day on AI.
Wow.
So it's like I won't be able to learn that quickly.
Yeah, of course.
So I do one-on-one with him 3 hours a week, and it's like my mind is blown every time.
Yeah.
And so now what we're doing is we're trying to figure this out. And this is a hard one. And he's like, we just mastermind yesterday. So now it's like, okay, how am I going to build this operating system for my team where I still own it, right? And I'm giving them what they need for their business role to really excel. So we're doing that, and he's like. That's why I was asking all these questions. He was like, that was a great session because we're, and so that's the one little bit of a limitation. But if you can still do it, but then when we have mine, so it's automatically 3 times a day, automatically going to GitHub without you having to fire it.
So great.
Nice.
And then the skills that I build in there are like they're hand off. So it's like I always say that each of the skills is a skill that's made for one aspect of the sales cycle, right?
Yep.
Marketing, lead generation, lead nurture, conversion, fulfillment, delivery, refer, retain, resell. And then they're built to like specifically for that sales cycle. And then it's built to hand off to the next. So
good.
He's like, Krista, there's not going to be anything, if there's anything at all that you're doing, just takes over your computer, that you are doing as a human being, we will be able to create your Claude desktop to do it for you.
So great.
Anything. There's not going to be one thing that you're going to ask me ever. And I was like, and he's right, because we just built an AEO GEO website and we use Vercel. And it has its own folder, and it's literally writing the articles, doing the backlinks. Like, he is the #1 AI coach when you go to AI Now because he built it for himself. So he gave me his operating system for that.
So good.
Because that's the only thing I'm using in a different, you pick which one you're working off of. Like,
yeah.
It's so awesome. Yeah.
I love your excitement about it.
Yeah.
That's how I am too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bleeding at the eyes at night sometimes. I'm like, this is so good.
I'm like, I don't want to have, my husband's like, are you talking to Claude again?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm having an affair with Claude. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Are you using the talk to text with it?
Whisperflow and Claude.
Only
That's the stack.
Whisperflow.
Oh, okay.
Whisperflow is with everything. I mean, we have we use Whisperflow. I just got it for her. Everything is Whisperflow. Come on, you guys.
Yeah. And then you're using skills from an organizational level?
I'm using skills, every skill we're building out ourselves.
Okay.
Because
and are you using them on like a team plan in the organizational level? Because what I found was like I was building all these skills, but then they weren't shareable. And so then putting them into the organizational level, then I could like make a change to one and it roll out to everybody. So like think of it this way. I'm going to give the beta. One of the things that takes a really long time is like the Zoom attendance reports, right?
Yes.
Like pulling those. I have it's more than just a skill. Like you have to build like a server to server authentication. You have to go through a whole bunch of stuff with all the scopes. But now I have a skill that can pull the attendance reports, right? And then clean those, right? Minutes, right? But for every single client that we have, it's a new build out. Like it's a new build for the server to server authentication because the Zoom accounts are separate. This is why I was like,
for your clients. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. Because
right?
we have that too. We have same thing where we know who attended, how long they were there, like by the minute. And it's just
I think
automatic.
I saw it's Jerry, right?
Jerry.
And I saw his report and I was like, it's a good report. Ours
Yeah.
matches. I was like, ours match. This is good.
Good job.
This is good. Yeah. We're going to the source, which is really good.
That's badass though.
It's very badass.
And why? Explain why.
Well, it's because of the hours of time that it takes to pull those reports.
But it's the data.
It's
so
the
you
data,
can be like,
yeah.
okay, this person right here is an A lead. He's got first priority because he was at the event for 15 hours.
Yep.
This one was only there for 2. This
Yep.
one takes precedence.
So this is what we're going to do next for you.
Yeah,
okay?
what?
We're then going to be taking the chat and we're going to be matching it up against attendance too and seeing like engagement based on the chat and what they're saying as well. So there's basically a word cloud that we can create or a sentiment analysis based on, and I'm sure Jerry or maybe one of your teammates might already be doing this, but taking the chat and because it has their name,
Yeah.
right? And it's attached to their email.
Oh, how much they're
engaging and what they're saying, right? And then we'll have a lead scoring based on that,
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome.
And so based on that lead scoring, we can then pump them into different campaigns as well.
Ooh,
which that's getting deep, but
you guys are like, we need to geek out on this, you guys.
know.
I almost invited you to my Obsidian things. I taught it in front of the inner circle.
Oh, rad.
And they were like, oh my God. They couldn't believe it. They were all just tripping out. I'm shocked about how even people at our level
not doing
are
it.
not they don't get it. They don't get it.
It's not as simple as push button make money. Like,
well, everybody makes it seem like that and they're lying. It's like all these agents and skills. I'm like,
real
I don't
work.
Do not buy a skill.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're taking a skill, it's not working for your business, and it's not considering who your avatar is, and it's not customizing all the million things.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've built and torn down multiple times, and to the point to where now it's like I feel really solid with, especially with the dashboards.
That's so good.
Especially with the dashboard. I had to tear yours down a few times.
We should compare our operating systems because mine,
to.
he's like insane. I mean, the crap that it's doing,
sick.
Like it is insane.
So good.
Like, oh yeah. After I did a free call. This girl calls me. She's like, what do you charge to coach? I want to be your first non-real estate agent. I'm like, $35,000. She's like, wiring it right now.
Oh shit.
She's like, I cannot believe how much I just learned from you. I'm like, cool. I'm all that's nothing, girl.
Yeah. Well, this is cool. We want to align with more individuals like you. It is the best. Yeah. We enjoy the energy so much. Yeah. We enjoy the progressiveness of it so much. And more than that, like we love the team too.
Yeah,
the team's really fun.
I agree. Well, I tell you guys, we're like everybody loves working with you, and we really be like, okay, we're safe, like we're back, man, because they have our backs and they're so organized, and we know. Cool. Okay, so let me just ask you guys a question. I need your advice. Okay, so we were on a leadership meeting, and I was like, okay, I said, I want you to go back and look at the events, and it has to be make sure because we'll play the same event for 6-10 months, right? Mm-hmm. I said, so I want you to go back and look at the different events, and look at the calls booked. Mm-hmm. Okay, on day 1. Calls booked on day 2.
Yep.
And then I want you to we're going to put it into Claude, and we're going to say, okay, here's the results from these 4 events. And here's the event itself. Analyze like why on certain events, what do we do different that made more calls get booked on day 1 or day 2?
Sure.
And then more calls get booked on day 3.
Yeah.
Right. And it has to be, because sometimes just weird stuff happens. It's like, it's an anomaly because it was the same event. Yep. But so that's what we're kind of doing right now. If you have any feedback or advice on how I could do to make that better, because I think it's really important, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do different that made that one have more book calls? Was it timing of the broker panel, timing of a few of my like mindset things? Like, what could it be?
This is a tough one because I believe it's a belief, and it's something that I see in the market too. Like, I really don't like when people chalk it up to like the economical state, right? Of the nation or where we're at, and that is a variable to consider.
Oh, I agree.
There was a war, there was a fire, there was a flood,
those are
a
black
hurricane.
Swan events.
They're all
you can't predict them.
They're all black swan events that make it. It's tax season, right? Like we actually
election
election crushes everyone. Yeah. Everyone. And another one too that we paired up with too is paydays. Like there's like, I mean, most people, 67% of people are paid twice a month, right?
But so, agents aren't, so they're getting
agents are different. Agents are different, right? Yeah. But if their market that whatever client we're working with, like we try and line them up around those times as well.
That's smart.
But there's, for that specifically, I mean, what would be interesting is because we're brainstorming now, kind of what I said I want to start working on you is like pulling the chat reports and like, and seeing like the engagements to time that with the calls book. So I am curious like what you are saying or what is being said on the webinar.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Another thing that you guys should think about too is turning your chat off during the offer. So
yes,
we keep it on the whole time.
Yeah,
but we turn off during the offer because if somebody's like it's too expensive, then it's like it just takes everything away. So we have found that helps our conversions too.
Yeah. Pausing the chat, placing the link when you pause the chat, like that's a big one.
Now what?
So you can pause the chat. So like when you're on Zoom, the one downside is that you don't have like a call to action button or anything, right? You have to put the link in the chat, right? Or you have to put a QR code up on the screen, which you all do, which is great, right? I recommend that to everyone. But you can pause the chat and you can place the link. That way it's there for everybody.
Yes, they also we can still they can talk to us. They just can't communicate with everybody else.
Yeah. I shut it off for everyone. Like when I do, like I'm actually I'm on day 2 of a 3-day workshop today, like for our company.
Are you?
Yeah. We doing it.
Starts at 6.
Starts at 6 p.m.
Oh, are you guys tired?
We're fine. We're good.
How do you? So what's up with the 6 p.m. like, and how long is it?
It's 2 hours, and it's 6 p.m. here because it's 4 p.m. Pacific time. And I can tell you for us specifically and another client, but
for your avatar.
Yep, for us specifically, we have found it has doubled. It's more than doubled our attendance rates.
Wow.
Yeah, more than doubled our attendance rates, and I took March, April, and May compared to the previous 3 months.
Oh,
and
wow.
it more than doubled our attendance rates. And it's just, I mean, I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to say it, and it might come off a little rude.
A little brash, but it's true.
Hey, you know what? People attending at like 11 a.m., maybe it's our audience or not, but I'm like, you're brokies and freebie seekers.
You're brokies and
I'm
freebie
just
seekers.
going to be real, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's just what's happening because the real people out there that want this or need this are working. They're working, right?
And they don't mind going so late because then it's like what time? Like 7 or 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Like they still have time. They can get dinner. They can watch it. And so like for the somatic business, I mean, these are coaches and therapists, and they have clients all day. Right,
Yeah.
they can't make an 11 a.m. for 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours, 3 days in a row.
Yeah,
right. But they can at the end of the day, right? And so we find a better quality of attendance, better engagement, better questions because it's better people on.
Yeah.
I mean, we have lots of other resources for the other people, but yeah, it's worked really.
I have another question for you. So we just did the 5-day challenge, and like it was one of the best.
So cool.
Actual. I'm talking about the content.
Okay, cool.
But we track how many people. And so I was like, I made a decision, and Chelsea's kind of fighting me on it because she's like, the conversions are like 17%, from people. She was converting not from total attendance, but from people that were actually there. And I said, Chelsea, we're like, by the time day 5 comes, it was like half the people. We don't have half, right?
Wow.
From the 3-day event. It's never half. It's like still, you have 80% of people are still there. So I said, that is 30% people that didn't get to see the majority of me and the offer and how it builds.
Yeah.
Right. I said, so we are going to take the 5-day challenge and we're going to make it a 3-day.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
Compress
3 days, 4 hours a day, and just like compress it. And she's like, and she's fighting me on it. But I'm like, I'm not. This is up for discussion. Like we're doing it because What do you guys think? What have you noticed from doing 5 days, 3 days?
So going back to your previous question before, I actually have a really good answer to what you asked.
Yeah, he's
which
done
is,
a lot of challenges.
Well, and it's also defining, do we have a webinar problem or do we have a traffic problem? Because the perfect offer and the perfect pitch on the wrong ears will not convert. So then you might gaslight yourself into thinking, we got to keep remaking the pitch. The webinar's not good enough.
It was converted great, but I want more people to see it.
Well, I'm talking in general of like, you have to identify which type of problem that you have. Because and that's why on the front end, one of our specialties is what we do is what we call pixel conditioning, which is where we ask qualifying questions on the opt-in, and we don't guess on those. You can take your buyer data of, say, the last 50, 100 people who have bought your product and try to find the greatest common factor between all of those people. It could be income, number of houses sold, how long have you been an active real estate agent? That's why gathering buyer data is so important. Then we take that one question, 1, 2, maybe 3, we put it on the opt-in form, and now we're nudging the algorithm to go after people that match our most qualified criteria. Now, those people go onto the webinar. Look at the conversion rate of qualified leads.
Yeah.
Because if your conversion rate of qualified leads is really high, even though the total conversion rate of the entire webinar blended across qualified and unqualified might be low, you don't have a webinar problem because the qualified people are converting. And so you have a traffic problem. You're not getting enough of the right people on the webinar. Now, if the people who are qualified are converting at a low rate, you have a webinar problem. Because even if I got a lot more qualified leads, they still would convert at a low rate. That's how you can tell the difference. You're actually focusing your attention on the right piece. And I use an analogy to describe this. I think of it like pay dirt in the ground. Say we're going up to the Yukon, we're going to mine gold. I can have the best equipment ever, but if I'm digging in dirt that has no gold in it, I'm not going to find gold. So instead of trying to get better equipment, which is an equivalent to the webinar, let's just move where there's better dirt, where there's more gold in the dirt.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So that's like the tactical marketing way of approaching the problem. It's like it's data.
Yeah.
And the big thing is just, I know I'm reiterating this, it's been so critical and made such a big impact, and I'm really excited to talk. It's like you with AI, right? Pixel conditioning is my thing, where if you just separate qualified versus unqualified, that makes a huge difference because then you get more people who are qualified, and And then you can track the conversion rates of those qualified people. And we can focus on the buyers that are actually going to continue on and purchase our products and get results, not just anybody who will give us their phone name and email.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And here's what happens. Here's where a lot of people get intimidated, people who run challenges and workshops, is that all of a sudden I have less registrations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Or sometimes the cost per lead is even more too.
Exactly.
But it's a more qualified lead.
Exactly.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that's
They freak
somebody,
out about it.
somebody
It's
of
like-
experience who
Yeah.
understands that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. We've only had 2 people who understand that.
Yeah. I get it.
Right. So you have less people who've registered, but you have more people of the right people.
That are
Your
qualified.
cost CPL goes up, but your cost per qualified lead.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys are
what
doing
matters.
good though. You guys are doing good with us getting people there and getting the right people there.
Cool.
It's for a while it was like
We got plans to make it even better.
Yeah.
We
we're-
got an alignment call. I'll go over it. But
okay,
we
yeah. I
gotta
want to
do-
be on it. I was like bummed that I couldn't
Yeah.
because I'm like, God, I want to be on the call with him, but it was like freaking working my A off.
I know.
No.
I could imagine.
and we see it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. We got about a few minutes left. I would like to dive into some of the mindset pieces. Obviously, you've shared stages with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, like a lot of the huge names in the industry. What is stuff that you've picked up with them that you can share with us as well as the audience, or just in your own life experiences? Any like mindset shifts, sayings, quotes, principles to live by?
Yeah.
What do you have for us?
So I will tell you that when I won the top 10 with Tony and Dean, and it was like
Mhm.
Russell was there and all these other really high performers. And one thing that I noticed, you get to all ask a question, and both times, 5 out of the 10 questions would be about them feeling their self-worth. Like, when am I going to feel good enough? And I was like, oh my gosh, like these people you'd never think, right? So, and I think sometimes even top performers are harder on themselves for whatever reason, but I was really shocked by that. For me, so I use the stop, snap, and switch strategy, which is like, I wrote a book on it, and we have, 40,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and most of them research shows are negative. So getting like being aware of what you're thinking, right? Thoughts become things. Energy
Yeah.
goes where focus flows. Like it's so true, and it's actually not rainbows and butterflies. It's actually neuroscience, and the neurotransmitters in your brain do not know the difference between what you're thinking and what you're actually doing.
Hmm.
And there's all this research about like golfers and so many different case studies of the people thinking about something and then a group not doing it, and the one that thinks is like the same as the one that actually did. Like tons of studies like that. Anyway, so you have to notice like what you're thinking. So you have to stop and notice what you're thinking, and then you snap. So you put a physical with the mental, and then you switch it, and then you restate the negative statement. And so just by being aware of your thoughts and doing that makes a massive impact. And then even switching it to this, to where it's like, I do this now more than anything, like stop and recognizing the things you're doing well, what's working for you, what's going great, and then snapping and switching and being like, great job, that just went so well, and here's why. And so that's a strategy.
Beautiful.
And I love it. Like it works so well more than anything.
There's
And
so much wonderful psychology in there that's working.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to.
Yeah, but like it's like stop, snap, and breathe, stop, snap, and stretch, stop,
Mhm.
Another one is called Thrives, where it's like the T stands for being thankful, the R is reminding yourself that you're resourceful, the I is breathing, right? Inhaling and I am, the V is visualizing, and the E is expected, have energy around it and exercise. And then with the S, Thrives, stop, snap, and switch. So those, I just read a book called The Thinking Effect, and the Thrives method is in there.
Oh.
And so like for me, I thrive every morning before I get up. It's the first thing that I do. I pray, say my prayer as the T, the first thing in the morning. And I notice that the more I do it, like I used to say 6 times a day for 60 seconds to make $66 million. Because when I was at year 6, I hit 66 million. Bad numbers, like 666. Double, right? But it's like, I'd be like, hey, if you could do this 6 times a day for 60 seconds, that's how you make $66 million. And it's the thriving. And that's a little bit much, but like try to do it 3 times a day. Like we'll be telling like, let's thrive it. Like, oh my God. Like right now I should be thriving because we're sitting down too long. But those, like it really works. I mean, and the reason there's, out of each one of those things showing gratitude, like the positive effects of showing gratitude last up to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dopamine's released. So everything in Thrive has positive residual effects that are almost close to all being the same. And so it's like when you do it over and over again, they're combining.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm a happy person. Like I love life and I love people. And it's like, and I attribute it to my mindset.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's been truly a pleasure having you on with us today.
Kevin, Nadeem, thank you guys.
Yeah,
This is
of
fun.
course.
I can't wait for what the next 12 months holds working with
Me
your
too.
team.
I am feeling so great.
And so for anybody watching, where can they find you? Like give yourself a shout out.
Yeah, so Krista Mayshore, and just go find me online. And we're we're gonna just find me online.
We'll give you your phone number if you need to call her.
Oh,
ask about how we are. Like,
but you should read the book $1 Million Months because it talks all about doing events for virtual events for.
Where can they swoop it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Beautiful.
On Amazon. $1
And
Million
I can give you
Months.
guys a free digital copy too. I don't care.
Love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Link in the description.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, Krista, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job, and I mean that. Like I'm
appreciate
not
it.
one to ever give fake reviews. So
Well, if anybody wants to find us, we make thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and creators impossible to ignore. You can find us on builtbypraxis.com. We appreciate you so much.
bye.
Cool. Sign off.
Awesome.